Okay, so now let's look at how we are going to actually put together our designs in SketchUp. When we talk about top and side views, I'm going to be using this toolbar up here called Views quite a bit. We can look straight down on what we're doing and kind of center things. So like with this top view, we're going to be working right here. It's going to be best to be zoomed in as close as we can to do our work, okay? We can look at it from the front, which, you know, when we go here to do this side view, we'll want to be looking straight on from the front. Just get used to using these views here, okay? We'll come back over here to this top. Important thing to note here, when we do a top view, whatever we draw is going to be symmetrical, meaning that we could put an imaginary line straight down the middle, and if we had an imaginary line straight down the middle, what we did on one side is the exact same as we're going to do on the other side. When we're talking about a side view, side views are not symmetrical. If you go back and watch the video I did where I showed the different cars, you'll see that things that were top views are symmetrical, things that are side views are not symmetrical, and that's going to be really important. I'll ask you to do your best. We are not doing a full unit on 3D modeling, so you won't necessarily learn how to use all of these tools perfectly and all the tricks that I talk about with my 8th graders when we do 3D modeling. But you need to do your best, and you need to understand that side view, not symmetrical, top view, symmetrical, okay? The selection arrow. Use this black selection arrow and double click on this block. Now look at what happened to the rest of the model when you double clicked. It kind of faded it out, and it just kind of highlights this block. What we've got here are things that are called groups. So you can see here, if I grab that black selection arrow and click on this, see how it highlights everything in blue? Here it highlights everything in blue. That's because these things are groups. In order to make changes to a group, you have to double click on the group and it highlights it, okay? So that's super important. If you just start drawing on this, it's going to be wrong. If I just get my pencil tool and I come in here and I just start drawing, I'll tell you right now that this is wrong and it's not going to work because I am not editing my group. So I'm going to Control Z undo, Control Z undo. Double click on the group, and let's look down on this from the top. Let's zoom in, center it on the screen. And as far as the drawing tools goes, really you're just going to use the line tool and the arc tool. That's pretty much all you're going to use, okay? So I can get my line tool. I can find a midpoint here. We know that what we're going to do is going to be symmetrical. So I could draw in, okay, I could draw in these lines. Maybe I want to do something like this. And we see this thing called the no-cut zone. You can't draw lines through that. Your design cannot go through this thing called the no-cut zone, okay? So just pay attention to that. Okay? Now, this is pretty symmetrical. It might not be exact because I did not, there are tools that I could have used, but we are not going to get into some of those right now. You're just going to do your best to get this as exact as you can, okay? So this is drawing a top view. Yeah, I think I'll stop this right here, and we'll talk about drawing a side view next.